It's no wonder why the City of Fresno and so many Valley businesses choose McHenry Protective and Investigative Services. With over 50 years of experience in public safety and security, McHenry's team of experts will safeguard you, your commercial property, and your next big event. Professional service, marked patrol vehicles, 24-hour dispatch, and friendly, observant, and responsive armed and unarmed guards are just a few of the reasons you should contact McHenry at 559-478-7747 or visit them online at mchenryprotection.com. Hi, I'm John Malos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Wednesday morning. Today we're talking about a very serious topic, a sexual predator possibly moving into a Northwest Fresno neighborhood. Well, maybe, maybe not. 436-ME-TV option 11. Remember, when you call in, you get the recording, then hit option 11. We'll get you in here as quick as we can. McHenry Protective Services is our sponsor on the program today. And we're back here on the program on a Wednesday morning. Glad you're watching us on Comcast Channel 375. And if you've got over-the-air broadcast with one of those antennas over there, it's 13.1 and 43.6. But Comcast will get us all over the Central Valley, and the number is 436-ME-TV option 11. You get that recording, the usual recording, just hit option 11. We'll get you in. McHenry Protective Services, the sponsor today. A quick programming note for tomorrow. We'll have somebody in from the Armenian Museum here in the city of Fresno talking about all those wonderful paintings that are up on the walls right now through January. We'll also talk about some of those portable labs that they took over to Armenia to try to squelch some of the disease that's going on over there with some of the animals. So we'll talk about that and possibly Tour de Fresno coming up here shortly. Then on Friday, a friend of ours from the Fresno County Health Department is going to be in here to talk about West Nile virus. You realize that West Nile is more concerning to health officials in California than Zika? Zika, we hear about that all the time, but we've kind of, we don't hear that much about West Nile now that Zika is on the forefront. So we'll talk about that on Friday. But let's get right to today's program, and it's a very important topic. And I have to say, sexual predators are everywhere. They're in your neighborhood, they're in my neighborhood, they're in every neighborhood. All you have to do is go down to the sheriff's department and check on that computer and see where they are. Sometimes we can and cannot control where some of these sexual predators end up living once they are released from prison. But there are some residents in Northwest Fresno that are completely outraged, at least they were, maybe it's quieted down now, with the potential and possibility of a sexual predator possibly moving into their neighborhood. I want to put his picture up on the screen. The offender is 61-year-old Jeffrey Snyder, who has an incredibly long history of convictions. They include annoying and or molesting a child under the age of 18, lewd and lascivious acts with a child under the age of 14, oral copulation with a minor under the age of 16. And so the big question is, why is this man out of jail? That's the question that we all should all start with. He also has several known aliases. Now, let's change to another photo here. The home that potentially he could move into, but we don't know now, is a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house located at 5740 North La Paz Avenue in Fresno. And this location was, oddly enough, selected by the Department of State Hospitals. Officials at that hospital are soliciting public comments on the location, or at least they were, as part of a formal response at a court hearing that will take place later in September. Live in our studio right now to talk about this and much more regarding this issue is Rachel Austin. She is a concerned resident who lives in Northwest Fresno. And sitting next to her is Renee Ramirez, who heads the Neighborhood Watch program in that area. There have been several new developments surrounding this case, and some residents are relieved, but it's not over yet. They've got that court hearing that takes place later this month. You're welcome to call in 436-ME-TV option 11. The topic is sexual predators. Not a very nice topic, not a topic that we delve into each and every day on this program. In fact, we've rarely talked about it here the last 4 or 5 years on this program. But today, a very important one, and you can call in and chime in. We're back after this from McHenry Protective Services.
Not sure what you're watching? Want to see what's coming up next? Or just want to browse what's on without the hassle of flipping channels? Your wish has come true. Now you can view schedules for all the digital TV channels available in the Central Valley. Get local weather updates and forecasts, and listen to nationally syndicated Biz Talk Radio, all on KVHF 4.1. Rescan your TV now, then tune in to Digital Channel 4.1 to start enjoying the all-new TV Guide.
It's no wonder why the City of Fresno and so many Valley businesses choose McHenry Protective and Investigative Services. With over 50 years of experience in public safety and security, McHenry's team of experts will safeguard you, your commercial property, and your next big event. Professional service, marked patrol vehicles, 24-hour dispatch, and friendly, observant, and responsive armed and unarmed guards are just a few of the reasons you should contact McHenry at 559-478-7747 or visit them online at mchenryprotection.com. Matter of fact, I'm going to pose this question to you, the viewers, my friends, to try to entice you to call in today about this program. Very sensitive issue, but, so what's worse? Is it sexually molesting a child or killing someone? I mean, it seems to me like a sexual molestation is really, it's mental torture. You're mentally torturing someone for the rest of their lives. Even if they live to be 90 or 100 years old, that person will never forget it. And one thing I go back to and I think about as I welcome in our guest, I think about sexual molestation. My God, I can't help it. I think about the Catholic Church. Rachel, good to see you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Renee, hi, how are you?
Good, thanks.
And so would you agree with me on that? I mean, in some cases, it might be worse than murder.
Yes, I would have to agree. It's awful.
What about it, Renee?
Yeah, I mean, it's a terrible situation to put anybody through.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they have to live with it. The victim has to live with it the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I'll get to more about this in a moment here. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
I love your program.
What's that?
John Mellows.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Do you have a question? Can't hear you.
No, I just wanted to tell you, I do like your program.
Well, thank you. What do you have a question for our guests?
No, I have no questions.
He doesn't. Well, he just called in to say he likes the program. Okay. Well, I don't know if you like the topic. The topic is a very sensitive issue and very kind of a numbing issue, and it kind of leaves a pit at the bottom of your stomach. But so tell me the latest, Rachel, about this guy, Jeffrey Snyder. Is he moving into that house? Is he not moving? What are the latest developments?
From what I understand, he will no longer be moving into that particular home. But they
Is that a sure thing?
We believe it is a sure thing. The homeowners have canceled the lease, but the brokerage still has the contract with the state, with the county. So they will
What does that
be.
mean?
That means that they will be moving him in the Northwest Fresno area. We just don't know where. They're searching for a home, so it still could potentially be in that area. And so we want to make people aware of what is going on.
But that specific house, if we can put that picture up again, he will not be moving in there as far as you know, Renee, but there is a hearing that takes place on the 27th of this month.
That is correct.
Which means what?
The district attorney's office has released a statement saying that house, which you're showing there, is no longer eligible for this person to move into. However, the fact is he is still going to be released from prison, and he has to be released into Fresno County. What that means is they have to find a new house for him. Now, I'm not sure if he necessarily has to go into Northwest Fresno or just somewhere within Fresno County. The hearing on the 27th, from what I understand, still pertains to the initial plan of releasing him to that house, and it's for the judge to hear comments and feedback from the residents within the community.
Not only comments and feedback like in person, right, at the hearing itself, but you're talking about I think I saw something online where you're talking about writing letters.
Yes, the district attorney has actually asked the community to send letters in, send emails, make our voices heard about this. So about this issue.
So what are you asking people to do?
We've have petitions out online, as well as we've had 2 days where we actually had petitions signing in front of the home. But also we're getting the notification out with the email information and the address information for people to come out and send that information to the DA.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
the concern is, I just want to kind of bring this about, is this is not
Hang on, caller.
this is not just a sexual predator. This is a violent sexual predator. So
Meaning
that this person has been involved with acts that are kind of above and beyond what may classify somebody as just a sexual predator.
Yeah.
And to our knowledge, this is the first violent sex offender that is going to be released into Fresno County. We have not previously, as residents, had one of these violent sex offenders released amongst residents.
Just the first time?
From what we understand, yes.
You mean the first time ever?
Yes.
Ever?
Yes.
Ever.
And it just happens to be possibly in your neighborhood. We don't know yet. I mean, the owners of the house, we'll get into that in a moment, have said no. We're not going to let this happen. What's going to happen to that house? Then the owners, the owner of the house is his nationality is Indian, right?
Correct.
Okay, they're Sikh, I believe.
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
But they're local.
Yes.
They are. And what was their reaction? Because there was this outrage in your neighborhood about this. What did the
Yes.
owners say?
They were actually pretty devastated because, according to them, they were not aware of who was going to be placed in their home. So they actually were apologetic and pretty devastated with the attention that was drawn to them. We don't know the details on what the conversations were between the homeowners and the property management company.
Okay.
We're kind of looking into that as well to see did the property management company disclose that information to the homeowners. So yes, they were very devastated.
Yeah, and there's certain laws on the books, I'm assuming, that, you know, a sexual offender, when released from prison, when he or she is moved into an area or a home, it can't be within a certain distance, within a school,
Correct.
a play yard. Island Water Park is over there. Let me get to this call quickly here, Renee. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, I got a great idea. Whoever the individual was that thought that this would be a good idea, why don't they take them home with them, or either move this subject into their neighborhood and see how that plays out?
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Renee. Pick it up.
Well, I mean, that is a very valid concern. Our concern is the lack of transparency involved with this entire process. We understand that this criminal is being released, and that the law states that he has to be placed back into his original county of residence, which unfortunately would be Fresno County. Now, the fact is that one of these violent sex offenders have never been released into Fresno County before. Our big concern was the lack of transparency with the decision-making process as to how they came about with this location, which has such close proximity to many children next door, a school that's not even a mile away,
Island
a water
Park.
park. You know, there's a park where kids play just 2 houses down from this location.
300 feet away. Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. Let me just look at this. There's a from what I'm reading here. There's a park less than 300 feet away from the proposed location. Many surrounding neighbors have kids of all ages that live there. I mean, all ages, right? Babies on up, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a very family-oriented neighborhood. I mean, there's lots of kids that are riding their bikes, skateboards, playing basketball, hanging out in their front yards, walking to and from the park. There's a major school bus stop just around the corner from that house that kids have to walk to and from school every day.
Yeah. And so in your opinion, though, I mean, these sexual offenders, once they're released, they're all over the place. They're all over the country. You know about the law. You can go into the sheriff's office, dial up the computer, and find out if one is living next door to you.
It's true.
You don't know. And what you really don't know is is if your neighbor might be renting a room to one of these people. That probably wouldn't show up. Maybe that wouldn't show up on the computer. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it would. Maybe it would. Maybe somebody else has some knowledge about that. Do you?
I don't know. I know Megan's Law states that if you go to the Megan's Law website, it'll show exactly where they are and what homes. But I don't know how detailed that is. Do you know?
All I know is that if they're a registered sex offender, they pop up on the Megan's Law website.
I got to take a break. 436-ME-TV, option 11. Rachel Austin is here. She's a concerned citizen in Northwest Fresno about, this sexual predator. He may not be moving into that specific house, but he could possibly be moving into an area near you. 436-ME-TV, option 11. Rene Ramirez is also here. He's the neighborhood watch commander over there. And so McHenry Protective Services is our sponsor on the program today. Back in just a moment.
Revan is now on KVHF channel 4.4.
All right, back here on the program, let me ask you a question out there. If you're watching 436-ME-TV, option 11, should any of these sexual predators ever be let out of jail? And if they are, where, in your opinion, should they end up? In your neighborhood? Should there be a secluded area someplace in Fresno County, or should they have a special section for these people somewhere in California where they go to if they're released out of prison? They're away from the general population, like kids, families, husbands, wives, away from the general public in a sense that they can't cause any harm. Not incarcerated, but somewhere else. And the other question I have for you, can they be rehabilitated? Now, Renee, you work as an emergency room doctor over there at Community Hospital, right?
Right.
In Europe, you're a doctor. All right. Do you see any way that, and I know you're probably a general, you're like an emergency room doctor, like a general practitioner, but can these people be rehabilitated? I know you're not a psychiatrist.
Exactly.
I understand that, but just asking you your opinion as a physician.
Unfortunately, there's no way to guarantee anybody's, future intentions. The hope is that through rehabilitation that there'd be a less likelihood of recurrence. However, working in the emergency department, I am confronted every day with, substance abuse and psychiatric illnesses. And unfortunately, a lot of these people are recurrent offenders. If you take a look at, recent events, unfortunately, with the correctional officers here in town, the person who ended up the shooting
over at the jail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was a repeat offender. He was a repeat offender, and he was let out as well amongst the rest of us.
And I think we have his picture up on the screen from the other day when we did the story. I think it was Monday with Doug Begum, and but anyway, it was Thong Bang, and he was the sexual offender and predator that was part of the Mongolian Boys gang or something like that. That gang rape case back, when was it, like 20 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and he said he wanted to go back to jail, and so he went in there and caused havoc and shot somebody. But he was a sexual predator, no doubt about it. So should someone like that be let out, in your opinion?
Unfortunately,
he served his time, 19 years.
Sure.
There he is right there. That's the guy that committed the crime over the weekend at the jail. Should someone like that be let out, in your opinion, Rachel?
No.
He served his 19
not.
years, and some people would say, you know what, he did his time.
I feel very strongly about this topic. Not just because I'm a mom, but I just feel that the damage that it does to the victims is lifelong, like we mentioned earlier. But I do not believe that these people can be rehabilitated. I just don't believe it's a way of thinking, as how we were talking about it earlier.
Okay, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, John. For the two people up there on their panel, they like you said, they've done their time. They're going to get out. That's the reality of it. As far as them coming into neighborhoods or what have you, I don't think that's right. I think if they're going to be let out into Fresno County, they need to be put like other prisoners. They need to go to a halfway home and be with other people that committed the same similar crimes and be under guidance and be in a halfway home. That's what they do with other prisoners, and this one shouldn't be any different. Now, as far as the transparency with the county, that's a big issue. If they're doing this and with a brokerage home, and these Punjabi owners of this home are, blindly with the brokerage firm that signed up with Fresno County and doing this, that's not good. Somebody dropped the ball there, and they need to let these homeowners know what they're getting themselves into, and that probably wouldn't have happened in the first place had they known.
Exactly.
So that's my take on that.
Yeah, you won't get an argument from our guest about this, but here's an email question. Why did this felon have to be released in Northwest Fresno? So what was it about Northwest Fresno that appealed to the hospital that said, hey, there's a house right there. We'll just release him in there.
Sure. Yeah, and that's one of our biggest concerns, and part of the reason for our petition is, again, the lack of transparency with this entire process. Again, from what we understand, this is the first violent sex offender who's being released back amongst
but why
residents.
That neighborhood? Does anybody know?
Nobody knows, other than it's a third-party company who we were told tries to do the best job possible to try to find kind of a neutral location. But that's a big concern of ours with so many things that kind of fell through the cracks, with even the homeowners of the house themselves not even knowing the type of potential resident or residents of that home.
Yeah, I absolutely think that that is what bothered all of us the most, is the location. The county stated that there was not a school nearby and that there weren't any parks. Well, the park is 300 feet away from that home. Like we mentioned earlier, the elementary school is 0.8 miles to be exact. It's Herndon Barstow. There's 2 churches within a mile. There's the water park. I think that was the biggest uproar for all of us in our community, is that we have all those elements in our neighborhood that they're saying we're not. And so obviously the research and what the county was doing was not efficient enough, and they just, I guess, maybe just grabbed the first home that was available and didn't really look into it. That's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, these are our kids. These are society. These are our future.
Yes.
And this guy has been put away for many years. He's been away from kids.
Hang on, caller.
The last thing we want to do is say, well, we hope that he's better. Let's try to put him, amongst kids again.
Our neighborhood is not an experiment. That's how we feel. We are not going to be an experiment, especially with so many children in that neighborhood.
Yeah. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I just want to comment that, I'm not trying to sound rude or anything, but if some of these crimes, okay, because a lot of the law, okay, if they were against these lawmakers and these people that make these laws, where the advantage is to the criminal, and these criminals do the crimes to these lawmakers instead of family, private people, I think the whole attitude would change. I mean, that's my thing.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
All right. So, how did you guys find out that this predator was potentially or possibly moving in?
So we belong to we have an app called Nextdoor. It's kind of a Facebook, if you will, for neighborhood, kind of like a neighborhood watch. And somebody had posted the district attorney's press release talking about the intentions of releasing this guy into our neighborhood. And immediately there was a huge uproar from our neighbors, rightfully so, asking what we can do in order to prevent this from happening. We found out about this on August 30th, and per the press release, the district attorney's office was going to start accepting comments and concerns via email or mail response. But we said we could not wait until September 1st. We had to bring this to everybody's attention as soon as possible.
So you took to social media, you went to the general media, the paper,
Yes.
several TV outlets,
Correct.
news stations. Okay, we got to take a break here, or do we? We got a phone call? Okay. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me direct a question to both of your guests. Renee, I guess he's the
It's Rachel, by
in
the way.
charge of the neighborhood watch, and we do the same thing here. And we get to know the kids as well as the parents, and we go door to door to the neighborhood or the surrounding area, because we have a school maybe 2 blocks down. Now we talk to each other as parents, and we tell them, not to let their young kids go walking to school unless there's a adult supervision. But we get to know each and every parent and their kids, because you never know what can happen in 1 block or 2. His idea of neighborhood, this has been on for a long time, but a lot of parents don't take the time to know other, neighbors and whatnot. And I commend them too, because a lot of them have already done it. It doesn't make any difference what area you live in, all that. But when someone comes and tries to invade, who's come out of a situation like, they molested a young man or a young girl, we have to be, as parents, we have to be aware where they're going to be living. That's just one thing that we as parents have to know. But at the same time, the law enforcement should let the people know that so-and-so is going to live in an area. And then we as parents need to get to our law enforcement and whatnot, and let them know that this is a no-no. Because, just because they serve 5 or 6 years, and they someone says, he's okay to go back into the society, they'll never change. They can go to a park and be watching these kids and their routines and all that. So my question to both of you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, don't get to know your neighbors too well, but then in a situation like this, I guess you have to. Is that a really, really close-knit neighborhood there?
This day and age is a lot different than when my parents grew up, so to say.
Obviously.
And, I even myself growing up as a kid, I remember playing outside, in the front yard and getting to know our neighbors. But I think our neighborhood is fairly close and, very family oriented. Granville is nice to have an occasional movie in the park during the summer times.
Hey, don't give Darius a semi-free plug here. What are you doing?
We also come together as a neighborhood yearly and have neighborhood yard sales, neighborhood events. With booths and crafts and food vendors coming out. We get to know our neighbors, and hopefully this is an attestament to our neighborhood of how close of a neighborhood we are, in that we were able to help bring this to the owners of the house attention and get them to change their mind in literally less than 12 hours from the entire neighborhood finding out about this.
Wow. Well, next time you guys have a barbecue, you'll have to invite the whole crew over, right?
Yeah.
Neighborhood barbecue?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, if you want to go to this website, I understand this will tell you where the sexual predators are located at this particular moment. It's called familywatchdog.us, familywatchdog.us. I know a lot of you out there have cousins, you have nephews, nieces, sons, daughters, grandsons, granddaughters. You have kids running around all over the place. Doesn't matter what part of Fresno you're in, there are kids all over. So we'll see what happens with this case. The hearing is on September the 27th. We'll be back after this from McHenry Protective Services. Hey, don't forget to call in. Back in a moment.
Untamed Sports is now on KBHF 4.3.
It's no wonder why the city of Fresno and so many Valley businesses choose McHenry Protective and Investigative Services. With over 50 years of experience in public safety and security, McHenry's team of experts will safeguard you, your commercial property, and your next big event. Professional service, marked patrol vehicles, 24-hour dispatch, and friendly, observant, and responsive armed and unarmed guards are just a few of the reasons you should contact McHenry at 559-478-7747 or visit them online at mchenryprotection.com. Back here on the program, we do have a caller waiting. Thanks for being patient. Careful, don't hit those buttons on that phone, caller. Are you there? Hello?
They're trying to hit option 11.
Yeah.
I don't think that they realized that they were on the air. They're trying to hit option 11 right there before our very eyes. Anyway, call in, and when you get the recording, hit option 11. We'll put you on hold for a moment. Don't keep hitting buttons. Turn the sound down on your TV set or hit the mute button, and we'll be good to go. So you can call back. No harm done. Just call back, 436-MeTV, option 11. And so I do want to run a piece that ran on Channel 47. We were going to run out of the break, but then we started talking and conversing around here. We never did that. So let's roll the piece. They covered this extensively in the Fresno Bee with an article, and they did on KMPH, 47, 24, I believe Channel 30 covered it. But here's a piece you may have seen or not seen on Channel 47. Here's Ken Malloy.
That a developing story, residents in a North Fresno neighborhood are speaking out against a state hospital that could place a sexually violent predator near their homes. The Liberty State Hospital found a home for Jeffrey Snyder in the 5700 block of North La Plaza. This after Snyder served 10 years in prison for a variety of sexual acts on minors. CBS 47's Juanita Adame has local reaction.
Residents here in the 5700 block of North La Paz Avenue could soon be getting a new neighbor if the courts approve. Alfonso De La Torre says it makes him uncomfortable.
And they're always playing outside, and then she plays with the neighbors and stuff, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Having this man, Jeffrey Snyder, a convicted sexually violent predator, move in just a few homes down from where he and his family live.
It'd be kind of weird because it is right there next to the park, and we live like right here on the corner house. So.
His mom, Dionisia, agrees.
I'd be lying if I said no. Well, yes, I'd be worried because I have children.
Snyder has 5 convictions dating back to 1979, including lewd acts on a minor, oral copulation of a minor, and annoying and molesting a minor.
When he was coming up for his parole back in 2002, 2003, he qualified as a sexually violent predator.
Wright said they petitioned to keep Snyder off the streets, ordering he be sent to a state hospital. It was there he went through therapy.
Liberty Healthcare is attempting to find housing for a place for Mr. Snyder to live. And the reason why he's being placed back here in Fresno is because he lived in Fresno prior to being committed to the Department of Corrections, prior to going to prison.
Neighbors, however, don't know if this is a good idea.
I don't think you can ever change a person. In order for someone to change, they have to want to change.
For more information on hearing dates or where you can send your public comments, visit our website, yourcentralvalley.com. Reporting in Fresno, Juanita Adame, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
Okay, so that report played on Channel 47. It kind of gives you a detailed report on what was going on there. We have a caller waiting, I think. Caller, are you there? Oh, that caller was very impatient. Okay, call back. We'll put you on the air. 436-MeTV, option 11. So tell us about the hearing on September the 27th, and also tell us about Lisa Smitkamp and what her reaction was. She's the district attorney, about what her goal is. What does she want to see happen with this case? Is there anything that she can do to stop this guy Jeffrey Snyder from moving into any neighborhood in Fresno? Have you talked to her? No.
I can't speak on behalf of Lisa Smitkamp. I can just speak to the district attorney's office and their press release. And the facts are this guy has, per the law, done his time, and the law feels as though he is able to be released. I know that the district attorney's office does want to hear our comments and our concerns. That's really all I know.
So when you say that the DA wants to hear your comments and your concerns, what does that mean, Rachel?
They want to hear from us, letters, emails.
Okay.
Obviously, what we're doing now, we've taken it upon ourselves to take it a step further and take it to the media and really get the information out there.
So how are you going to keep this at the forefront? Do you think keeping this message alive within the realm of social media and media keeps the pressure on who? Who does this put the pressure on?
I mean, the hope is that this puts the pressure on whoever is responsible for coming up with a plan to release these people. The hope is
Would it be the hospital that released this guy?
So, what is it? Team
What's
Health?
the name of the hospital, county? Well, anyway, the county as well. We want to put pressure on the county as well. Lawmakers, I mean, I know we have a few residents that feel so strongly about this that they want to, take it to our legislature and start sending letters to them as well. Like we spoke earlier about transparency and really getting the information out to the public, the appropriate information, so that the homeowners, for example, for the homeowners of this home, know what's going on and what they're getting into, because they really, truly didn't know what they were getting into.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the fact that so many of us are in the dark with regards to what type of process goes on and how these violent sex offenders, or even just all the sex offenders, how they're able to pop up in our neighborhoods, without our involvement, is very concerning. I mean, our neighborhood is where we live. It's the place that we raise our kids. It's the place that we'd like to be safe. Now, the fact that we don't know how, these legislators or lawmakers or these county hospitals or these state facilities are able to release these people into our neighborhoods without our say-so, that is not what we will not stand for that.
Yeah, and it's the Department of State Hospitals. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes, I got a couple of questions. Nice show you got. Why such a nice house?
Exactly.
And why such a big house? 5 bedrooms.
Right, and who pays for it?
Exactly.
We do, taxpayers. We don't know why such a big house. We do know that they were planning on putting this home into a program where they would have multiple offenders in the home. It would be 2 to a room, is what our understanding was going to be. It wasn't going to be just Jeffrey Snyder. It was going to be other offenders as well.
And this is a very big house, as you pointed out, 5 bedrooms, 2 to a room. That would mean potentially 10 sex offenders in this one house.
Wow. So they were.
I don't live in
Go ahead, caller.
that neighborhood, but man, I've lived in town, and to have that many predators in the same area is a crime to the people that are living in that area.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah. So were they planning to release other? Thank you, caller. Were they planning to release other people into that house besides Jeffrey Snyder?
That is our understanding. Yes.
Yes, that was the understanding that we had.
Okay, and what other potential possibilities do you have to try to stop this? Can you go to court to try to stop it? I mean, that would cost money, of course.
Well, per the DA's release, with the court hearing day on the 27th is the time where the judge would solicit our feedback and comments and concerns.
But besides that court case?
Besides that, the district attorney's office gave a window of about 2 weeks. I believe it was September 1st through the 16th, for any types of letters or email communication to be sent to them voicing our concerns. which is the reason why we were so proactive and took it to the media, social media, which is why we have a petition online. If you go to our Facebook page at Herndon Barstow Neighborhood Watch, you can find links to our online petitions.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. 436 MeTV option 11. Rachel Austin is here along with Renee Ramirez. They are very concerned citizens about what's going on with the situation out in Northwest Fresno and this Jeffrey Snyder character, this convicted sex offender that may or may not be moving into the area. 436 MeTV option 11 if you want to call in. If you get the recording, hit option 11. McHenry Protective Services is your sponsor today.
Frigidaire. It means the first electric refrigerator. The first compact electric range. Now, there's the Frigidaire Gallery Range with Symmetry double ovens. It's designed to cook multiple dishes at multiple temperatures, so you can prepare the entire meal at the same time. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
It's no wonder why the city of Fresno and so many Valley businesses choose McHenry Protective and Investigative Services. With over 50 years of experience in public safety and security, McHenry's team of experts will safeguard you, your commercial property, and your next big event. Professional service, marked patrol vehicles, 24-hour dispatch, and friendly, observant, and responsive armed and unarmed guards are just a few of the reasons you should contact McHenry at 559-478-7747 or visit them online at mchenryprotection.com. Well, we do have a caller waiting on the line. Before I get to that, familywatchdog.us, and Renee, you're looking up the other website, Megan's Law. We'll get the other website
meganslaw.ca.gov.
Oh, Megan's Law. Say it again.
.ca.gov.
meganslaw.ca.gov. So those two websites, you can go on and check on Jeffrey Snyder. I imagine he's up there, right? Or anybody else?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I got a background feed on this. Anyway, why is it that the laws, judges, insurance companies, district attorneys all put such a low price on children? Children are expendable according to our laws because, and then what happened to all the victims of this guy since 1979? What has our government and our people and our cities and stuff done for those victims? Why is it that we cannot put the value back in the people and less rights for the perpetrators? Victims have no right. The best you can get is $10,000 worth from the state of California for if you're a victim of violent crime. Well, these children, aren't they victims? And this guy that you're showing now with this, that shot those two guards in the downtown, we're giving too much rights to these people, not enough rights to the victims. We've got to go back to the victims. So you guys are fighting for yourselves, but you're also fighting for the victims that keeps this guy out. And you just said a 5-bedroom house with 2 people, so that's 10 more perpetrators that in your neighborhood. And anyway, it just irritates me that we have so little rights for the victims and so major amounts, $400,000 home for a perpetrator that raped children and stuff like this. It's not right. Not right at all.
Yeah, I know. Well, kind of discouraging, but I encourage everybody, if you can watch it. In fact, I encouraged the 2 guests here. One of the biggest, I think, failures in any church or anywhere, in any era, has been the Catholic Church as of recent times. And there's a movie out on Netflix called Spotlight. It was in the movie theaters, and it talks about the Boston Globe, how the reporters there just stayed on this case and they blew the lid off the Catholic Church. Now look, I'm not Catholic. I have nothing against the Catholic Church. I have nothing against the Pope. I like Pope Francis. But this brings to light of how serious this situation is. If it can go on in the Catholic Church, it can go on anywhere. Got to watch that movie, though, Spotlight. It's on Netflix right now. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. And so, I don't know, what are your thoughts about that?
And that's exactly why we're here today. We want to bring attention to this entire process. You know, we're not necessarily trying to say we just don't want him in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
What we're trying to say is, you know, we don't want people of this sort to be anywhere near our children, at the very least.
Well, how do you feel about here's what's really bothersome is that a priest in the Catholic Church can rape and molest a young boy, and yet
get away with it.
They're secluded from prosecution. They don't even get prosecuted. They get transferred to another area or another city.
It goes even further than that. Domestic
that
violence.
This guy's not even serving time.
Sure.
Right.
Domestic violence.
Yeah.
Assault on kids.
Right.
Sex trafficking. I mean, it's a huge issue of debate. Why is it that we could have, athletes who make multi-million dollars a year get suspended from one game for beating up their wife or their significant other? I mean, we as a society need to start holding each other accountable for these acts.
Yeah, the 49ers, by the way, I don't know if you're a 49er fan, but in the last 2 years, I learned this yesterday. I went and looked it up after our guest was talking about it. In the last 2 years, since 2014, and I'm joking, I'm kind of laughing about this, but in 2 years' time, they've had 14 players arrested on the San Francisco 49ers football team for various reasons, whether it's drugs, whether it's this, whether it's that, I don't know. Look it up. Look it up. It's all there on the internet. So go ahead, Rachel.
I think another issue as well is, we have marijuana smokers getting put away in jail for longer periods of time than some of these sex offenders. And
okay, just by saying that, it sounds like you're backing marijuana.
No.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that I feel that our children need to be our priority. They are our future. And I feel very strong. I'm very protective of my sons. And this was something that when it came up, I was enraged. I cannot understand the mentality behind this. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, and none of it makes sense. I wouldn't even be doing this show if it made sense. I mean, if everybody, was doing what they're supposed to do, we wouldn't have a show like this. 436, MeTV, option 11. You get the recording, hit option 11, and then we'll put you on the air. McHenry Protective Services is our sponsor today.
Tune in to Heartland for the best in true country music. Relive vintage specials, one-of-a-kind concerts, and country music's earliest videos. Heartland is the heart of country, the only place where you can find country music, country stars, and country lifestyles 24/7. Heartland, the heart of country.
Now on channel 13.2.
After God created the world, He made man and woman. Then, to keep the whole thing from collapsing, He invented humor.
Sub, a perfect reason to rejoice. A distinctly positioned channel in the crowded Hindi general entertainment channel space. It is India's only family comedy entertainment channel with a core brand promise of असली मजा सबके साथ आता है.
हाँ, देख रहा हूँ.
Which means celebrate the joy of being together. Taking humor as a universal language, the shows on Sub are light-hearted and make up for an enjoyable family viewing experience. Indeed.
असली मजाक सबके साथ आता है.
अब तो सबको पता है यार.
Zob TV is now on digital channel 31.8.
Back here on the program, caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning. I was listening to the program, and I've been with the news too about this person that's living there in the neighborhood around children and school and everything. And I'm really upset because I don't know, whoever lets these people out, it's like the person that shot the two officers. I mean, they let them out, and then look what happened. Oh, this person here, he's living there in the neighborhood, nice home and everything. I mean, you know, heaven forbid if something is going to happen again, and they're being let out, and really, they shouldn't be let out to begin with. I don't know who these judges are or what they made out of. Pardon me, but I'm just really upset because this is so wrong. And if the people can see this, it makes me think the judges can't see this, or whoever lets them out and then put them on nice homes around the neighborhood, like if they never, hurt. You know, are they waiting for them to strike again? Because they will. They will strike again. I believe that. Look at this person that just shot these two officers. He striked. They let him out, and he striked. So I'm excuse me, but I am just really upset, and I just wanted to give my opinion on that. And so I just hope that that something can be done, and they just really they shouldn't be let out. Really, that's just my belief. They just shouldn't. I mean, they're just going to get out and they're going to do it all over again, hurt a child, and that's what they're going to do. I believe they will.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Thanks for your opinion. So what should be done with these people? Execute them, huh, Rachel? Is that what you're thinking?
I have very strong opinions. I just feel that, you know, when you've committed the same kind of type of crime over and over, there is no rehabilitation for that person, and I just think that 6 feet under is a good place.
Okay, what about you, Renee?
I mean, it's a very complex topic. The fact that somebody's able to essentially steal, you know, the rest of a kid's the innocence of a kid, and you know that extends into their adulthood. And you know, I firmly believe that how could anybody ever be the same after, you know, such unspeakable acts? But yet we're able to allow our legislators and lawmakers decide, okay, this person's done enough time. Let's put them up in a nice house in a nice neighborhood, or just in any house in any neighborhood for that. But let's put them right back, right in the midst of kids.
Yeah.
It's like if you get anybody who has any type of substance abuse problems, whether it's alcohol or drugs, and you know they've abstained for however long time. Not to say that, you know, not anybody could ever fully recover, but the temptation is a constant battle, and that's evident through, you know, programs like AA. But
yeah, I'm just wondering if it's like being a drug user, a drug abuser, an alcoholic. They say once you're an alcoholic, you're always an alcoholic. You're never recovered. Same thing with drugs. In fact, Flint Anderson, was it Flint Anderson who's been here? Okay, Flint Anderson has even admitted on this program, he's in charge of that organization called Pain Big Time, former drug user. He says he still has temptations and he's recovering.
Sure.
So I'm wondering if being a sex offender is kind of the same thing. You're not an expert, neither am I. I'm just throwing ideas out there.
No, but it's a very valid question, especially, and the law probably thinks the same thing of this guy, because from my understanding, there's two classifications of these violent sex offenders. There's the monitored and the unmonitored, and for whatever it is, the law, you know, the judge, the court, everybody feels as though this person still requires a monitored status.
All right, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Morning, everybody. I kind of was tuning in and out. I don't know their names, the couple, but that's fine. You know, is this John? Maybe you can help me. Is this federal or a state or a city law that they have the authority to live in a house near people, children? Is that a state? Because if it's a state, I could see where this is going.
Is it state?
I think it's a state law that they can't live within a certain distance of a school, a playground.
Actually, from my understanding, the laws vary from state to state. I was looking at a little of this on
It's not a
Megan's
federal law. It's like any other law.
Yeah,
It
and
does vary.
And the proximity or the distance to a school varies from state to state.
Right.
But
in a lot of cases, it's what, like 1,000 feet?
It can be anywhere from 250 feet to 2,000 feet.
Okay.
Again, just depending on the state. However, in
Isn't that crazy? 200 feet? I mean, think of 200 feet.
I know.
I mean, 200 feet is not even the length from home plate to left field, down the left field line at AT&T Park.
And
I mean, you got to be kidding me.
And from my
Yeah.
and from what I looked in California, there's no law to say that they necessarily have to be any distance away from a public park.
Yeah, caller, are you still there?
Yeah, John. And the reason I asked is, I think this goes back in time, in years of the liberal state we live in, and if it was conservative, I mean, I'm kind of wishful thinking. If it was anything conservative, we wouldn't be here talking about it. They would have a place for them away from other people. And that's kind of where I'm going where, God, I wish California would split in half. I don't know if that's my answer. One all the liberals on one side, all the conservatives on the other. And I'm just tired of it. That's why another reason I'm going to throw this in. I'm getting off the track. The vote for Trump. I don't want to, but I will.
Well,
I will.
Like Trump would
And
say,
that's-
okay,
that-
get him
that's
out
all-
of here.
John, if it wasn't so liberal, the state, I mean, we don't have a chance. Conservatives do not have a chance to voice what we want. Just like the bullet train. The bullet train is going without no money. And it's very similar to the situation where this predator, is our voice being heard. We don't want it, and they don't understand that we don't want it. And it's so common sense that the normal people do not want a person living right next to them or within 200 feet. I mean, it's like a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, and yet the liberals wouldn't care less what you think. Okay, John, I rest my case, and I think I'd love to share more thoughts with you, but I got to go.
Okay. Thank you very much, and I'm sure you're not going to get a disagreement from our two guests today. So where does this case go from here? Hearing on September 27th, and let me see, I got the information here, but just tell me where it's going to be. We know Fresno County Courthouse, okay, blah, blah, but let me see if I can look it up here.
Department 71.
I have it in my trusty notes here somewhere, but it takes place at, here it is. The court hearing scheduled for September the 27th, 9 a.m., Fresno County Courthouse. I don't know what department it is, but look at all the aliases this guy has. This guy Snyder. I'll put a picture back up on the screen just for a moment. Just take a good look at this guy. He's not out yet, though, right? He's not out yet. Am I right about that?
From what we understand, that is correct.
No, but I mean, lewd and lascivious acts with a child under 14, oral copulation under 16, and holy smokes, annoying a child and molesting a child under the age of 18. Obviously, this is not normal behavior, so if they have to be let out quickly, 30 seconds, where should they go, Renee? Where should they go if they have to be out of jail or out of the hospital?
I think if they should be placed next to whoever decided for them to be let out. And I think that they would have a better plan as to what to do with these people.
Okay, gotta go. Rachel, good to see you. Come back again.
We will.
Nice to see you. Renee, good to see
Good to see
you.
you.
And good luck over there at Community Hospital. We're going to be back tomorrow in another edition of Connect with Me and back on Friday. Glad you joined us. See you tomorrow. Have a good day. It's no wonder why the city of Fresno and so many Valley businesses choose McHenry Protective and Investigative Services. With over 50 years of experience in public safety and security, McHenry's team of experts will safeguard you, your commercial property, and your next big event. Professional service, marked patrol vehicles, 24-hour dispatch, and friendly, observant, and responsive armed and unarmed guards are just a few of the reasons you should contact McHenry at 559-478-7747 or visit them online at mchenryprotection.com.
If you have a need to promote your business or event, please consider MeTV Fresno for your next campaign. MeTV reaches over 100,000 of your potential customers in the Fresno area every single week. Plus, you can rest assured that your commercial is running in the greatest family-friendly programs of all time. MeTV Fresno delivers a strong, loyal audience ready to buy, and your campaign will cost a fraction of what you're paying for your advertising now. Call me today to find out how affordable MeTV is at 905-1925.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more